These aren't movie scenes. They're not carefully scripted thrillers with stunt doubles and retakes. These are real moments, split-second decisions that shape headlines and haunt lives. From suburban homes to busy highways, airports to alleyways, when the sirens scream and red and blue lights flash, normal life vanishes. In its place, a raw and unfiltered truth. Anything can happen. This is Deadly Detours, when routine stops become roadside nightmares. The neighborhood was already in chaos when police arrived. The early morning sun revealed smoke curling into the sky from a modest single-story home. Neighbors stood clustered at a distance, whispering, filming with their phones. And then there was Caleb Jennings, standing barefoot in the front yard, wrapped in a dirty, ash-streaked bedsheet. Caleb held a glinting carving knife in one hand. His eyes were wild, vacant, and locked onto the officers who had taken cover behind their open cruiser doors. "Caleb," one officer shouted, "put the knife down. Let's talk." But Caleb didn't answer. The only sound he made was a low, rhythmic chant. Incoherent, eerie. His home burned behind him, orange flames dancing in the windows. Witnesses said Caleb had lived there alone since his mother died earlier that year. Something had snapped. The fire? Allegedly set by him. 20 minutes into the standoff, officers tried every tactic. Pleas, orders, patience. But Caleb stood, unmoving, muttering to himself. Then, without warning, he charged. The moment froze, then erupted. Multiple officers fired. Caleb collapsed onto the scorched grass, knife still clenched in his fist. He was rushed to the hospital, but pronounced dead an hour later. The investigation confirmed he had started the fire deliberately. A mental health crisis turned tragedy. It started with a trembling voice on the 911 line. A woman desperate, gasping through tears. "My ex is in the house. He has a knife. He said if I call anyone, he'll kill me or himself." Police arrived quickly. The house was quiet from the outside, a 2-bedroom rental tucked in a quiet corner town. Officers moved incautiously, shields raised, guns holstered. Inside, Michael Conley, 29, stood in the kitchen. A large knife glinted under the overhead light. His breathing was erratic, and blood smeared his shirt from a shallow cut on his own arm. "Michael," the negotiator said gently through the cracked door, "we just want to help. Put it down. We can talk." Michael didn't answer. For 25 minutes, police attempted every de-escalation tactic. Family members even joined the effort via speakerphone. But when Michael suddenly screamed and charged toward the door, officers had no choice. 3 shots rang out. Michael collapsed before he reached them. He was declared dead at the scene. The woman he once loved watched from behind officers. Trembling, it began with a screech. A black SUV clipped a gas pump at a roadside station. Sparks flying, plastic shattering. The driver didn't stop. Moments later, sheriff's deputies picked up the call. Reckless driver, possible DUI. They found the SUV swerving dangerously along a county road. 2 tires partially shredded. Inside was 34-year-old Stephanie Ruiz. The pursuit lasted 10 minutes. It ended when she swerved off the road into a muddy ditch. The vehicle came to a rest with smoke rising from the hood. Stephanie tried to run. She stumbled barefoot, mascara streaked down her face. She didn't get far. A deputy tackled her to the ground. Her breath reeked of alcohol. She was charged with DUI, evading arrest, and reckless endangerment. No one was injured that day. By sheer luck, it started with a desperate mother's call. Her son, Alonzo Brever, just 17, had been spiraling. Diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder the year prior, he'd stopped taking his meds. That day, he attacked his stepfather with a kitchen knife. When police arrived, he was in the living room, still holding the blade, shirtless, his eyes darting. Officers shouted commands. "Drop it, Zoe. Let us help you." They fired a taser. He staggered, dropped to one knee, but then pushed forward. Officers opened fire. He was taken to the hospital, still alive, but he died hours later. The community erupted in grief. Protesters questioned the use of force on a mentally ill teen. The department launched a full internal review. A mother's pain would become a city's rallying cry. The call came from a storage facility on the outskirts of the city. An employee reported a man inside one of the larger trucks hadn't left in hours. When approached, he threatened staff with a gun. Police swarmed the warehouse. The suspect, Eli Lane, 42, was inside the truck, windows darkened, engine off. Lane was recently fired from the same facility. Officers called out. No response. Then a shot. Lane fired from a cab, shattering glass and striking a police cruiser. Officers returned fire in controlled bursts. When the barrage stopped, they approached carefully. Lane was dead. Beside him was a loaded AR-style rifle. He never left a note. Only questions remained. It started as a routine call. Two men arguing in a Walmart parking lot. When officers arrived, they separated the pair. One man was calm. The other, Isaiah Reed, was holding a folding knife. Officers ordered him to drop it. He didn't. They tossed him. No effect. He rushed towards Sergeant Nadia Boone, blade raised. Boone fired once. Then again. Reed fell, alive but bleeding. He was arrested, treated, and later charged with felony assault. The other man, just a bystander, dragged into a dangerous moment. Before dawn, the SWAT team rolled up on a suspected drug house. Travis Bartley, 32, was known to carry firearms. Officers breached the door, clearing each room. In the master bedroom, they found him. He stood frozen, hands partially raised, but then gestured subtly to the bed. One officer shouted, "Don't move." Bartley stepped sideways. Shots fired. A modified AR-15 was later found beneath the bed, along with heroin, cash, and unregistered handguns. Bartley died before EMS arrived. The gate was packed. Delays had frayed tempers. But no one expected what happened next. Javon Thomas, 38, had just been denied boarding for intoxication. He exploded, screaming, throwing his boarding pass, demanding to speak to managers. When police arrived, he refused to comply, claimed police brutality, shouted about trauma, tried to call his lawyer cousin. In the end, four officers wrestled him to the ground. He was charged with disorderly conduct and assaulting an officer. The footage quickly made its rounds online. Another example of how thin the line is between public frustration and public danger. One moment, it's quiet. The next, sirens, panic, violence. These were supposed to be routine calls, routine stops, a wellness check, a domestic dispute, a traffic complaint. But there is no such thing as routine when human lives are involved. In these deadly detours, decisions are made in fractions of a second. Sometimes lives are saved. Sometimes they're lost. But the cameras never blink. You just watched real stories, real people, real consequences. If you want more hard-hitting stories like this, subscribe to Deadly Affairs. Like, share, and turn on notifications. Because reality doesn't wait. And neither do we.